Atishi, if there could be a political manifestation of New India, it would be the Aam Aadmi Party. There would be no Aam Aadmi Party in old India. You're at the moment, if we call the India moment, the political moment of it all, because you are a creation of New India. You realize that.
No, absolutely. And I think that India, in many ways, both India old and new, I think the biggest strength of this country has been the diversity of voices that exist here. I think that the biggest strength of this country is, and I'm sure that as we look across this room and we were to see the people sitting here, just in terms of life experiences, just in terms of cultural experiences, just in terms of opinions, in terms of the languages that we speak, I think that diversity is really the biggest strength of this country. And I think that Aam Aadmi Party represents an important voice in this. And I think Aam Aadmi Party represents an important voice in this because, and this is in some ways why I feel we are an important representative of New India, is that politics was considered the preserve of a few. And I remember that when we first came into politics, a lot of our friends and well-wishers used to sometimes laugh at us and say, "Tum log karoge politics. Tumhare paas na paisa hai, tumhare paas na muscle power hai. तुम ऐसे पढ़े लिखे लोग, ऐसे लोग politics में last नहीं करते हैं." But it is in this country where people like us, and I talk about myself, I don't come from a political family, I don't come from a wealthy family, I come from a very Indian middle class family. And I think the fact that I am where I am today, that without any political background, wealth, political connections, today I'm an elected legislator, I'm a minister in an elected government. I think that this would not have been possible with any other political party.
You're a creation, your party is a creation of New India, but the problem with New India is it gets bored very quickly, it moves on, and it reads very quickly on, on what's on the table. Where does the Aam Aadmi Party now stand in ideology? You've delivered that speech where you've talked about what's wrong with the BJP, but what is it that's right with the Aam Aadmi Party? You came with the promise of anti-corruption. You're facing the worst blowback on that now. What are you taking to the people that New India believes you and gives you a new story to narrate?
I think the story of New India is that India has to be for everyone. And everyone, irrespective of the family that you're born in, has to get an equal opportunity in this country. A few months ago, a friend of mine shared an incident with me where his father was hospitalized. And he lives in Bangalore. And he was sitting outside the ICU. And while waiting for the doctor to come and share what his father's medical report was. And there was 3 members of a family who was from rural Karnataka, who were sitting on the benches next to him. So the father of the family, the head of the family, was hospitalized. His wife, maybe around 60 years old, his daughter and his son-in-law, the 3 of them were there. And they were discussing whether the last asset of their family, one piece of land in their village, should be sold off or mortgaged to afford the treatment that the gentleman inside the ICU needed to have. And there was an argument going on between the 3 members of the family, where his wife was saying, "Ki nahi, mujhe to sab kuch karna hai." And her daughter and son-in-law were very patiently trying to explain to her कि पापा शायद बचेंगे वैसे भी नहीं, तो इसलिए आप अपनी ज़मीन तो मत बेचो, वरना आप उसके बाद क्या करोगे? But I think anyone who is sitting here would agree that no human being, no citizen of this great country of ours should ever have to make such a choice. And I think that really is what Aam Aadmi Party represents. That really is what Aam Aadmi Party is trying to do, is that every individual, irrespective of their place of birth, needs to have equal access, equal opportunity. You know how they say, India में कहते हैं ना कि हमारा भाग्य हमारी हाथ की लकीरों में लिखा होता है. And I sometimes feel that it's actually true. Because when you look at the future, how the future pans out for different segments in society, if I come from a well-off family and my parents can pay the fees of an expensive private school, then chances are that I'm going to do well in my school education, get admitted into a college of my choice, and get a high 6-figure, 7-figure salary by the time I'm done with my education. But on the other hand, If my parents do not have the ability to pay that fees, and I have to go to a broken down, ramshackle government school, chances are that I wouldn't even be able to complete my school education. Even if I do, I will, in all likelihood, end up becoming a mechanic in a car store, domestic help in someone's house. I'm not saying that there is anything wrong in being a car mechanic or in being a domestic worker. The problem is that there is no choice. And at the age of 3, most children in this country have that choice made for them just because of the families they are born in.
Atishi, I'm going to ask you one last question. Now, that's been, I would reckon, the administrative journey of the Aam Aadmi Party. What would you say to those who call you ideologically corrupt? Because where does the Aam Aadmi Party stand on everything, on what you criticize the BJP or the Congress?
I think our ideology and our party's, Delhi's chief minister, party's leader, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, has defined it several times in 3 phrases. Number 1, हम कट्टर ईमानदार हैं. Number 2, हम मानवता के लिए काम करते हैं. So I feel that this कट्टर ईमानदारी, कट्टर देशभक्ति, and मानवता are 3 things that define us. Because we are really looking to work towards every citizen of this country. You might call it an administrative journey when we talk about education and healthcare. But remember, Preeti, that we are all probably coming from privileged backgrounds where we have never had to make this choice. That can I get my mother treatment, or do I have to think about that last asset of my family, of that flat, of that jewelry? And I think that for every citizen of this country, these really are the most important challenges that they face. What is going to be the future of their children? What is going to be the future of their families? And I think Aam Aadmi Party is here to address those.